Welcome to Inspiring Nations with Sonja Keeve podcast show. Question: where do you draw your inspiration? Join us as we feature women across the globe with incredible stories of how they inspire nations every day. Now, here is your host, Sonja Keeve.
Well, hello, everyone. This is another exciting edition of Inspiring Nations. I am your host, Sonja Keeve, and I am super excited to have this next guest visiting the show today. And her name is Shonda Harris-Muhammed, and she has served in public education for 25 years as a math teacher, a math specialist, compliance specialist for special education, testing coordinator, assistant principal, and summer school principal. Wow. She has also served on the Richmond School Board. She is married to her college sweetheart, Demetrius, and they have two awesome children, Anthony, also known as Tony, and Khadijah, also known as Baby Boo. And Shonda is the founder and executive director of the Northside Coalition for Children Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization that provides free school supplies to children and families in the Richmond area. Wow. Well, she is truly amazing, and I am excited to welcome her to the show. So please, without further ado, to my listening audience, please welcome Shonda Harris-Muhammed. Hello, superstar.
Hey.
How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored abundantly. I cannot complain. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm just so honored that you decided to say yes to be a guest on my show today.
I am more than honored. It is truly a blessing to be on your show. Whenever a sister is doing amazing things in the community by way of radio, by way of art, by way of whatever.
Yeah.
I want to continue to be a blessing to them and promote them in any way possible that brings a continued audience to what they do. So it is truly my honor. Thank you, Sonja.
Well, I know we read this amazing bio and all of the amazing work you're already doing, but outside of your bio, for those who really don't know who you are, please share a little bit more about who you are and who you serve.
Well, first of all, I serve God.
All right.
He is not only the head of my life, but he is the head of my household. And as a reminder, my papa used to tell me all the time that if you don't serve others, if you do the work that you do, if it's not in honor of God, then you're just wasting your time. And so all my life, I have seen that from people that are very prominent in my life. So I serve God. Outside of the bio that you read, and even though I typed that and sent that to you and I heard you read it, I'm like, wow, I do that.
Yeah.
I did that. And so what people don't know about me, besides, me being everything youth and an educator, I'm just a country girl from Cuckoo, Virginia, for real. I am so country. I mean, outside of the stilettos and the lipstick and the pin curls, I am so country. Just put me in some grass with a peach and a glass of wine, and I'm good. I'm telling you, I'm good.
All right.
So my husband went and got him a country girl when we were in college, and so and he had to grow on that thing because
yes.
He had to grow on it because he is straight out of Highland Park, Richmond.
All right.
And so with that being said, we were a perfect match under God because, he had to learn me over the years that we've been together. And this is 25 years that, baby, you can't just leave your doors unlocked anywhere in the hood. You can't be doing that now. You can't leave your doors unlocked and your windows down.
Right.
And your purse in the car. You just can't do that.
Yes.
I'm like, well, why not? This is what we used to do where I'm from. He's like, well, you live in Richmond. You can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
So I am from Cuckoo, Virginia, which is a small town in Louisa County. And, you know, I value and embrace my culture and where I'm from because everybody knew everybody. Everybody took care of everybody. And your mama disciplined me if I was out of line. And so we had a strong sense of community. We had a strong sense of family. And even though everybody was related, and if you weren't directly related by DNA, you were related by marriage or whatever. And so my grandmother kept other people's children after she retired from the factory in Mineral. And every woman worked at the factory. So everybody knew my grandmother.
Right.
And so if my grandmother knew that you were with child, as they called it, if you were with child, then everybody knew who already had a child, you need to take that child to Dorothy because she can keep the baby for you.
Oh, okay.
So my grandmother was the woman in the community who kept other people's children and also raised other people's children that were not African American.
Wow.
And so one of the things that I remember when my grandmother passed, I remember how filled that church was, or how full that church was of diverse people. And I met people that day who my grandmother nannied, if you will. She nannied those white men and white women. She raised those children, and they spoke very highly of my grandmother, how much love. All of them said my grandmother showed them nothing less than love. And how they loved her and embraced her. So, and I try to live that today. And I think that's why the call of education is so strong on my life. My grandparents did not graduate high school. They did not even matriculate through middle school. But education was very important to them. Yeah. And so my mother, my Aunt Gloria, my grandparents had all decided what my life was going to be. And I had decided that I was going to go into the military because I wanted to be a 6-star general. And I don't even think it's a 6-star general in the military. That's what I wanted to be. I was going to break this. Even at 8 years old, when I hollered, I wanted to be a 6-star general. My grandfather knew there was no such thing. But I kept hollering, I want to be a 6-star general.
All right.
And so with women being in the military, just with the leadership of the military, you tell people what to do, right? Right. So all my life, I've been an advocate for the less fortunate. So I'm not a 6-star general,
right?
But I'm not in the military. I've never been in the military. But I shared that story to say that, you know, even though I did not matriculate in any branch of the military, I do have a call in my life that I recognize that is very strong to serve others. Wow. And so, and as people listen to the reading of the bio, all of that sums up who I am.
Yes.
And what I do and what I've done in my life. And so I have just been so fortunate. It has been a blessing for God to have chosen me for such a time as this. And in many seasons to serve others, even through the challenges, even through the dark seasons, public, private, I continue to serve the Lord because that's what I know to do.
Yes. Well, I'm telling you, I am just wowed by that story. Not so much because you wanted to be the 6-star general, but because your service to others is so strong. And that's the reason why I have this show, is because I love spotlighting women like yourself who truly are inspiring nations. Here's a girl from Cuckoo, Virginia, who came to Richmond, Virginia, and has put a mark on the city because for those who know you, know your work in service and know your work in education, and the same impact that your grandmother had for so many generations of people in your county. you have the same impact in the work that you do in the communities that you serve. So definitely kudos to you for that.
But thank you so much. Thank you. To God be the glory for that. Because he chose me. You know, every single one of us, every single woman is tapped with a gift from God.
Yes.
And it is up to us to walk in that gift. My gift is not your gift. My gift and strength is not to do a podcast, or, you know, our gifts may not be congruent, but they are designed and they were poured into our soul before we were even born, so that each of us could have a cornerstone to make this world a better place for the Lord.
Yes.
And that's how I look at our gifts. And so sometimes as women, particularly minority women, and let's narrow that down to African American women, we become envy and catty and jealous of the gifts that we see in other women. So instead of saying, you know, you got that spotlight, you got that gift, you got that special in you, and we turn around to do some things that are not of Christ-like, to dim, to darken the gift of that other woman that we see shining. Now, here's the other thing to that, sis. Here's the other thing. Women who do recognize that they have special gifts, women who do walk, you know, in those gifts that have been given to them by the Lord, they don't know how to utilize those gifts, because it's not all about you. That gift that you have been given is not really about you. That gift that God gave you is really to move the world.
Yes.
And so that people can see the Christ work in you. Our job as women of God, and it is really one job, and it is simple. It is to bring those women that do not know the Lord to the Lord.
Come on now.
That is our job.
Yes.
And so because we have been assigned that task, God has given me, you, Monique, other women, Adrian, other women, Teresa, other women, my grandmother, my aunt, my mom, other women, Regina Turner, Jenna Hawk Pleasant, Darlene Sims, Charlita Richardson. I could name thousands of women that I love and adore and work with. And I help their gifts grow. Because each of our gifts are uniquely designed and strategically designed by the Lord to move a cornerstone in his kingdom, so that the light of his love can be shown to those who cannot see. So it is some truth. It is some truth in the song, in the psalmist's song, that says, that reads or sings, I was blind, but now I can see. That doesn't mean that you know, were really blind. I mean, like, can't see, you know what I mean? Like, you have an illness of blindness. It means that song, that line and that song means I was blind to the word of God, and now that I have been touched by his grace, I can now see the movement in my life through him. That is really what that song means. And so it means so many different things to so many different people, and it depends on where your walk is with Christ in your life. But I just know I am a believer, and this has happened too many times in my life, that I know the work that God can do in people. I have been a witness. I have literally seen transformation in people when God has been allowed to speak to their heart. And so this thing about strength and sisterhood, that is really, that touches so close to my soul. Because I have been a Black woman in leadership, that I have witnessed other Black women plan destruction over another sister because she has spoken in the atmosphere, I want to be. And And because she has said, I want to be, I have literally witnessed other Black women say and demonstrate and behave in a negative manner so that sister can't be. And what I mean by that, Sonja, is that they speak ill of her.
Yeah.
And when you speak ill of another woman, that stuff is in the atmosphere.
Yes, it is.
And just like the Lord works on our behalf, the enemy works against us.
Yes.
And so you got the enemy working against us, and you got the Lord, who sometimes I say, Lord, you moving a little slow for me. I'm gonna need for you to, increase your speed on this here thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm fitting to get in front of this. And the Lord is like, I ain't even tell you to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get in front of it though, because you're gonna end up turning around back to me, and I'm gonna be like, see, this is what I told you. Had you just waited on me? And I'm like, well, Lord, I need to jump in front of this because I can. Right. And God is like, you only can because I can.
Right. There it is. Yeah.
You can't do nothing without me.
Yes.
And so I've had to learn over the years to correct my own self-esteem when I have been a witness to other women speaking ill of another woman.
Right.
Now, all of that ill may be true, but it is not our job to put that foolishness in the atmosphere.
Right.
Because what my grandmother has always said to me, if you have an issue with a woman, then you be that woman and you go to that woman and you try to discuss whatever the issue is.
Right.
If you can't do that, then you are not a woman.
Right.
In the Lord, you're not a woman in Christ. You're just a woman out here, like any other woman. And so I really had to, I really had to work on that.
Yeah.
I really had to work on that, because when you witness pain and destruction of our sisters, particularly African American women who desire to serve in leadership,
right,
and they have no support, and the support that they receive are from women who don't look like us,
right,
then you begin to grow this sickness inside of, I don't even want to work with Black women. I don't want to be in an organization with Black women. I don't want to have nothing to do with Black women. I don't even want to deal with Black women because of how y'all act.
Right.
It's all of these organizations out here that build and create leaders in other races of women.
Yes.
Emily List. I mean, it's so many of them. Different local organizations that support women that don't look like us. And when you even Google organizations that build leaders in Black women,
right,
I think it's one.
Wow.
I mean, that is really controlled and driven by a Black woman or by Black women. Okay. And I belong to a plethora of organizations, National Congress of Black Women, of course, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, ACHI. I belong to, women groups in church, the Women's Committee, all of those different things.
Right.
And the message that I always share with the women, no matter the season of their age, is that what is your purpose in this organization?
Right.
What are you going to do for another sister that's in this organization?
Right.
Okay. Because it's not just about you. It is also about creating leaders behind us.
Yes.
And so with my experience in life, as you know, and as many of your listeners know as well, I served in public office. And so serving in public office as a Black woman is a totally different atmosphere.
Yes, it is.
Let's just be true about that thing.
Yes, it is.
It is a totally different atmosphere. I was not from Richmond, Virginia. I didn't have family, and I wasn't born and raised and groomed, if you will, in Richmond like many other women. my networks did not just last or was not just built in Richmond, Virginia. I have networks in the Tidewater area, Suffolk, of course, Louisa County, Charlottesville, DC, Northern Virginia, because I'm in a sorority, right? And so that being in a sorority also adds to my network of people. And then besides that, before the sorority, I am an HBCU graduate.
All right.
So the alumni associations of Norfolk State University do not just run in Richmond, Virginia. They are in Maryland. Prince George's, DC, all over the place. So I had connections and people knew my work, not just because of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Right.
Also because I was doing some things as a student at Norfolk State University.
Yeah.
Right. And so because I was not groomed by people here in Richmond, some people had issue with that, and particularly Black women. Because who was this light-skinned, blonde-headed woman who got this country accent thinking she gonna run for public office and win? Because God told me that. And because I articulated that, well, I was called to this by God. God told me to do this.
Yeah.
This was not on my 5-year plan.
Right.
So people felt threatened because I would stand in a public forum and say, God called me to this.
Yes. Yes.
So what you say about me don't matter. And so they were like, whoa, who is this? Angry Black woman. Okay, so yes, I own that. I am angry because Black women don't know how to work together. Yeah, I'm angry. Very angry. And I take it personally.
Right.
And so for 4 years, I had to trust that what God had done in my life was for his glory.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes as a Black woman in public office, I would sit and just say, God, you got to be crazy. You got a real sense of humor that you think that I can do this.
Right.
And it was so many different times where I didn't want to walk away. I wanted to run away.
Yes.
I wanted to sprint away from that because of the pain and the cattiness and the evilness that I would see other Black women put in or do to other Black women. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So is this what we're doing right now?
So let me ask you this. So with the whole idea, because I know that unfortunately Black women do get a bad rap for how we treat one another. And a lot of it, can stem from, just how they were treated. So that's how they'll treat others. But do you see a change where we as Black women can come together and really uplift one another? What would it take? Or do you see the change kind of already taking place?
I do see the tide has turned or is turning. And I see that when I see Black women that are obtaining superintendencies in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Okay.
In the past 7 days, 2 phenomenal Black women have obtained their rightful place as superintendents in school districts in Virginia.
Okay.
When I see a Black woman leading the Superintendents Association in Virginia, I know the tide is changing.
Yes.
When I see the increase of Black women obtaining principalships and CEO positions, and obtaining partnerships and law firms, the tide is turning in Virginia. When I see Black women running for public office and winning, the tide is turning in our realm of leadership for women. So all of those things, it's not just happening in public education. It is happening in private entities.
Yes.
And private businesses. When I see that Dominion Energy is promoting Black women in leadership to lead their corporation, the tide is turning.
Yes. Yes.
The tide is turning. And so that gives my daughter hope.
Yes.
To say that the dream that I have of working for whatever is going to happen, because I see other Black women lifting Black women up.
Yes. And so this whole strength and sisterhood. Now, some would say that sisterhood is not just defined to Black women. Would you agree?
I do agree. I do agree. Sisterhood is diverse.
But the message, unfortunately, that we hear is that when you hear the word sisterhood, many equate it to sororities.
Sure they do.
Because, from historically Black colleges, that is kind of how the term seemed to have been coined. And in a world where we now need to be more diverse as women, how do you see collectively all women coming together to really be the strength in sisterhood?
Being able to have comfortable conversations about their place.
Okay.
Right. And when you have these conversations about strength and sisterhood and bringing sister back in sisterhood, when we hear the word sister, many African-American women in particular, we coin it to sister, right?
Yes.
To make it more urban. And so, we have to be mindful that the circle of life for women does not just include Black women.
Yes.
It also includes your Asian woman, your white woman, your Hispanic woman.
Yes.
Women of all races and cultures, right? Yes. And so there is strength in sisterhood. And a lot of times, you have to go outside of your own culture to find that strength.
Yes.
And sisterhood is not just defined to a blood sister.
Okay.
You will find that your best girlfriend, your BFF, is your straight out of the box, ride or die sister.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? And so when we can have comfortable conversations, when we can get to the conversation of, I don't feel appreciated, I don't feel like I have strength and sisterhood because of, you tell your story. And behind every story, there is an experience that has led that woman to feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it has been a story of pain.
Yes.
Has been a story of pain. And so what I have found out is that, particularly in public office, is that, many of our women who are in public office, just like women in the Me Too movement, they have been sexually assaulted.
Right.
They have been mistreated by men in leadership. Okay, so many of us share that story. Yes. But you wouldn't know that until you sat down with a glass of wine and some cheese and crackers and some chicken wings, whatever you want to snack on. And yesterday at the mommy's brunch, we heard testimonies. Yeah. Yeah. And many of those all of those testimonies had one common theme, and that was domestic violence. It was domestic violence. So if women can be more comfortable with each other. Yes. And Sonja, that's only going to begin when we become comfortable with who we are.
Yes. Amen. Yes.
We hurt and we try to destroy other women because we have a level of low self-esteem. Those women are not comfortable in the skin that they're in. And so they got to find another way to feel good about themselves. And destroying someone else does not make you feel good about who you are.
Yes, yes.
It's when you uplift that woman that you can walk around when your chest poked out, because you know you're doing the work of God.
And I love that, because as sisters, I do believe in uplifting and supporting and encouraging other women. And so fast forwarding your life, you were tapped to be the president of the Richmond chapter for ACHI, Women Supporting Women's Association. And for those that don't know the organization, it is designed to empower women and really mentoring and teaching and uplifting to build the next generation of leaders. And so when you were tapped to be the president of the Richmond chapter, what made you say yes?
Well, first I laughed. I was like, are you serious? I mean, Lord, are you really serious?
Yes.
When Sister Elise called me and said, I gave your name to serve as the president of the Richmond chapter for ACHI, Women Supporting Women Association, I said, well, why you do that? I was like, why, Elise, why you go and do something like that? I mean, what's wrong with you? And she said, and no, literally, that's what I said. And she said, because you can. You got to be the one to do this. And I said, to do what? Like, what am I going to do? I don't even know what. Are you serious? And she said, just let God lead you.
Yes.
And so I said, okay. I'm going to do it. And she said, well, I already gave you a name, so you the president. I said, oh my God, I didn't have time to think about it. I didn't have time to take it to the altar that following Sunday. I didn't have time to do none of that. So what I had to do, Sonja, was immediately trust God.
Yeah.
I had to immediately trust God about the season that I thought he was moving me to, but it was already a season that I was in. Yeah. And so I said, okay, Lord, you know goodness well, I am not about to operate in this position.
Yes.
With this, and I'm not a woman about titles. I don't get it twisted with titles. I never have. I think the person who operates an ice cream truck is a super duper person.
Yes.
Because they're about trying to pay their bills. They're trying to be an entrepreneur. I think they're a super duper person.
Right.
And so having titles, I don't get twisted with that. Right. Understanding that some people do get twisted with, the title makes them famous, but it's not the title, it's the work. Right. It's the work and the title that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so I just said, God, you know what you are doing in my life. And I immediately acknowledged to God that this was not about me. Yes. That this was about an opportunity of showing women that they can support each other and also do what they do. Yes. That's what this presidency is about for me, is being able to demonstrate how phenomenal is that. Yeah. Yeah. To lead a chapter to unfamiliar territory in a city that has been widely known for women not supporting women. Wow. Wow. Yeah. I'm like, God, you are amazing. Yes. And here's the thing. This is why I said in an area that is widely known for women not supporting women. Let me define that. You should not have to be in a clique. Mm-hmm. You should not have to have the record of, I'm gonna just be very transparent, of doing all these crazy things just to be supported with your business or your dreams or your ministry. Mm. You should not. Now, being connected to the right people is good. Yes. Yes. Being connected to the right people is good. But I should not have to be connected to foolery. Right. Yeah. Yeah. To present something that is great. Yes. And so there is so many women, powerful women in this community, in our communities, that are doing amazing things.
Yes.
But they are not seen, they are not heard, because they are not, quote unquote, connected to a clique.
Yeah.
And not every clique is bad, but what I say to people is that make sure you're connected to the right one here.
And so I know that you are truly connected to the right people, because I know that's how you and I met.
Yes.
And before I let you go, just share with us kind of what's next for you, like what's happening for you, because you're doing so many amazing things.
Wow. Well, wow. What is next for me? Well, I'm trying to hold out all hope that my son will find a woman and get married and give me some grandchildren. I'm holding out hope, Sonja. I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope. No, my son knows he is truly my number 2 man. But what's next in my life? I think that God is going to be using me to, let me tell you what I know he is doing. He is using me to set some footprints in our communities to show that, yes, Black women can support Black women and make things happen.
Right.
Right. So I know he's using me to do that. He's also using me to show women who have been sexually abused, who have been raped, molested, all of those things, that there is life after being in those situations.
Yeah.
That you can share your testimony. You can find a king to love on you and treat you like the queen that you are.
Yes.
And have a productive life.
Yes.
In terms of education, God is continuing to use me in the lives of children and families.
Okay.
So we can break the cycle of children remaining in poverty as adults.
Mm-hmm.
And also encouraging women to lead, to come out of their comfort zone of teaching and use their gifts as leaders. Okay. In public office, who knows? Who knows if God is going to take me back to that? And if he does, I will walk in it, because here's the thing that I do know. When I lost my reelection, it was definitely a blessing to me, because God says, no one can do my work tired.
Yes. Yes.
No one can do my work to the fullest exhausted.
Yes.
No one can let the light shine in them who is beat down.
Yes.
So I'm taking you out of that so I can cleanse you.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, I knew that on November the 8th.
Yes.
I knew before my family knew that I wasn't going to win, because God has spoken to me a week before saying, your loss is really your victory. Yes. And so I knew that leading up to the election, that I was not going to win. Not because of what people said, God had already, and I knew God's voice.
Yes.
I knew God's voice. And God said, you are going to be so victorious because of your loss.
Yes.
You are going to be placed on a platform by me so people can really see the God in you. And I've seen it manifest.
Yes.
I have seen it manifest. That's how ACHI came.
Yes.
That's how the National Congress of Black Women came.
Yes.
The manifestations, and see, all of that could not have happened in the season if I was still in public office, because I would have missed it.
Well, the word says that, your gifts will make room for you.
Come on now.
And so I know that you will continue to shine in every space that you walk in, because I've been so honored to be by your side and watch you, just grow in so many facets in this community. And so one of the things that I love doing with all of my guests is but actually, before I get into that, I do want my listeners to be able to reach out to you. So how can they connect to you and they can have more conversation just about, anything, even from wanting to lead?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or even starting their own nonprofit organization.
All right.
Business. They can reach out to me on all social media, Facebook, Twitter. I want them to know that I do have I still maintain my public official Twitter page.
Okay.
And I have my personal Twitter page. They're both under Shonda Harris-Muhammed. One is at Vote for Shonda.
Okay.
Also Instagram, and people who know me know that I'm all about family.
Yes.
So on all of my pages, I am speaking highly of my family and what my family means to me. I highlight my children,
yes,
baby Boo and Tony. I always speak about my love for my husband and the love that we have for each other. And
yes,
and so that is also a ministry because,
yes,
divorce rates are high.
Yes.
And every day there is a couple filing for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And so my husband and I, we've been through so many darn storms that we see a storm coming. We be like, all right, come on here with it. We just gonna show you how we're gonna walk through this here storm.
Yes.
And so I know I am the woman that I am right now in 2018 because of the man that God gave to me 25 years ago.
All right.
I know I am the woman that I am because of that man.
Yeah.
And he makes me so sick sometimes. I mean, oh my God, my husband make me so sick sometimes that I just fall in love with him over and over and over again, And so that is another reason why people hate on me, because I love my darn husband.
Oh, wow. Well, that'll be for another child. That'll be for another day. Yeah, that's another chapter.
That's another chapter.
That is another chapter. Well, yeah. Shonda, I know that I could have this conversation with you all day long, and I just want to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come onto my show. But before I let you go, I always ask of my guests, I'm going to give you 3 words, and I want you to tell me what comes to mind when you hear them. Okay?
Okay.
The first word is faith.
Philippians 4:13.
I can do all things.
Christ.
Love.
God.
Inspiration.
The women in my life.
Well, Ms. Shonda Harris-Muhammed, it was truly an honor to have you on my show today.
Thank you so much, Sonja. Be blessed. I love you, sis.
Love you too. And this is another edition of Inspiring Nations.
Be blessed, everyone.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Inspiring Nations with Sonja Keeve. I challenge each of you to perform one simple act of kindness and pass it forward. For more information on how you can be a guest on our show, visit www.sonjakeeve.com. We hope to see you next time.